The locals, riddled with apathy and a desire to be elsewhere, ambled through the turnstiles of their village fete. It was raining. Among their ranks stood a very tall, pig-ugly, sly-eyed, soved-up chav. However, this Neanderthal was no monkey. Returning from a three-stretch for blackmail, his stocks were swollen and his business acumen healthy, for this was diazepam Dai, a.k.a. Dai Drugs. Oh, how he loved his nan. Positioned at the arse end of the site was an out-of-town mobile hot dog vendor, noticeable by a pink floppy smiling sausage with mustard streaming over it, heralding the name Frieda's Frankfurters. Frieda, the middle-aged proprietor, a German national, pining for the Rhineland, strong beer and good football, slumped over the serving hatch, regretting her £25 pitch fee and no customers. Meandering around the site, mingling with the retirees and their grandchildren and quietly dropping more pills than a three-fingered pharmacist, Dai Drugs couldn't sell a tic-tac. Not at all quietly, in fact, extremely loudly, Frieda maintained her German resilience in a vain attempt to generate income. Come along now, I have cheap Frankfurters on board today. £2 a time, these dogs are plumper than a tart's lips. We got nice baps too, you know what I mean, fellas? I suddenly feel quite peckish, said this elderly onlooker to his wife. You only want that Kraut's baps, she moaned. Is there sex in a plate when we go home, love? Asked the clearly deprived senior citizen. Certainly well not, scolded his wife. Well, I'm going to go and get my wiener dipped, and off the old chap toddled to attempt to do just that. Meanwhile, Dai Drugs hadn't made his bus fare home when he had an idea. While Frieda gently sung Heidelberg Neff's 1966 classic hit Ich bin Zunmudum Shavels again, Dai Drug boldly approached the offal tube vendor. Slamming 3 giant-sized bottles of diazepam onto the serving hatch, he asked her to stop singing that damned awful tune and listen. Frieda was unoffended and all ears as Dai Drugs compared the couple's sales tally for the day, which was nil. After a brief conversation and a freebie, Dai Drugs departed and busied himself, spreading the love of Frieda's Frankfurters around the good village folk at the fete. The elderly gent soon arrived asking Frieda if she had a nice juicy wiener. Immediately, Frieda presented a rather crunchier than usual Frankfurter. Get your laughing gear around that, handsome. To which he did. Paid his £2, left, gave his wife a bite, and soon he was back for 2 more. Meanwhile, Dai Drugs enlisted customers from the apple bobbin, homemade cake, plant and bric-a-brac stalls, not forgetting the coconut shy. The gymnastics display team, the terrible country and western band, the travelling gooseberries, and some random with her overfed, scabby, vile dog. It wasn't long before the village had engulfed Frieda's Frankfurters, and as the till-popping day drew to a close, the shutters went down on a sellout. Dai Drugs joined Frieda in the van and they gazed together through the hatch at the beautiful sight of a ketchup-mouthed laughing policeman who whirled a young police helmet-donned young girl around in a wheelchair. There were people climbing up poles, lying on the ground, Wiener Man and his elderly wife snogged, and a general state of happiness ensued. Dai Drugs congratulated Frieda for her part in their joint venture and asked for his split of the dough. She agreed to count the heavy bags of notes and coins and tossed him the final Frankfurter to enjoy while he waited, to which he gratefully accepted, indulged, and then devoured. Frieda counted out £800 and Dai Drugs looked like he was about to faint, quite an overreaction for a good day's takings. Upon being asked if she had any tabs left, Frieda replied that there were 20 tabs left, pointed and informed him that he had just eaten them all. With that, Dai Drugs fell to the floor with a thud, closed his eyes and went into immediate cardiac arrest and died. So poor the pitch and no further customers, Frida inspected the very dead and lonely body of Die Drugs, jumped into her van and pulled away, £800 wealthier. At the exit, the official Fete Marshal innocently thanked the Fete Fatale for contributing to a hugely successful event and invited Frida back for the following year. She agreed, dropped into gear and smiled into her driving mirror, looking upon the day that she had made a very serious killing.